أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين وصلى الله على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إله العالمين والقاسم محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أما بعد فقال الله تبارك وتعالى في قوله كتابه المجيد وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل إني أخاف إن عصيت ربي عذاب يوم عظيم. من يصرف عنه يومئذ فقد رحمه وذلك الفوز المبين. وإن يمسسك الله بضر فلا كاشف له إلا هو وإن يمسسك بخير فهو على كل شيء قدير وهو القاهر فوق عباده وهو الحكيم الخبير. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
عظم الله أجورنا بمصابنا بالحسين عليه السلام وجعلنا وإياكم من الطالبين من ثائره مع وليه الإمام المهدي عليه السلام من آل محمد عليه السلام.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
These are ayat, verses 15 to 18 of Surah Al-An'am. We have been speaking about these ayat and other things. I'll recite the translation meanings. Say, surely I fear, if I disobey my Lord, the chastisement of a grievous day. He from whom it is averted on that day, Allah indeed has shown mercy to him. And this is a manifest achievement. And if Allah touch you with affliction, there is none to take it off but He. And if He visit you with good, then He has power over all things. And He is the supreme above His servants, and He is the wise, the aware. Recite the salawat.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
The Prophet of Allah is being asked to say, Inni akhafu in asayt. I am afraid. I am afraid that if I do wrong, right, there will be adab. The title of the Prophet is Nazir, Bashirun Nazir. That means there's a place in our life that fear has a place in our life. Khashiyat, khushu, is a place in our life. It's very important that we feel responsible. Nothing makes a person responsible, nothing makes a person obedient more than Iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Iman has khawf and raja. We have fear and hope together. The balance. A person who has more hope, his balance is off. A person who has more fear, but yes, the perfect balance is only maintained by a masoom. It's easier said to have a balance of fear, and most of the people either incline towards this side or that side. And if I, with your permission, if I say that more towards the hope side than the fear side. Very few people have fear. Most think that everything is fine. And that's why we are in the position, in the situation that we are in right now. The other day we were talking about, one person in the West gets killed. The whole media blows the horns for weeks. One US citizen in another country, but thousands of Muslims get killed. Doesn't even reach the front page of the newspaper. Doesn't even make a news. It's how we view ourselves. So are we feeling responsible? Why aren't we feeling responsible? Because we don't have fear. If we just look at the facts, we visit the cemetery, the graveyard, see people getting buried every other day, every day somebody is dying. If we just look at history, if we just read about Qiyamah, read about, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought down His wrath upon those who had similar actions like me, that they couldn't get away. We will see that I've been given a chance. I've been given, extra, a bonus. It's a bonus. I've been given. Why? Allah knows. But that doesn't mean the punishment is not waiting. If it's not coming today, it's going to come. The way it affects my life, the way it affects my death, the way it affects my grave, the way I'll be brought up on the day of judgment. Why? Because we are eating fire into our bellies. We are swallowing, we are taking in fire by eating haram, right? Eating haram, buying and selling haram, talking about haram, listening to haram. Okay, this is one part that relates to mostly the body. We are taking in wrong ideas, passing on wrong ideas. How these kids, teenagers, a lot of people who have no background in Islam or politics. Politics of their countries their parents came from, or background or history of the Islam and Muslims. There's no education in Islam. There's no parents don't attend to their needs, whatever be the case. They keep passing things around, shubuhat, questions, doubts, and criticism on Islam all the time. Well, you send your question to a learned scholar and speak to him. Find out, do research. Don't pass on this stuff to other people. Or some people probably have nothing better to do, sitting in their bored lives and having no meaning and this, depressed, defeatist mentality, no purpose in life, nothing to live for, nothing to die for, keeping oneself occupied with nonsense, if I can use that word on the member, passing around things, rubbish to each other, making something out of nothing, making a mountain out of molehill, as they say, And nobody's there to respond because nobody knows. They keep passing stuff around. Something happens. We don't even realize the people who are sending this criticism, allegations against Islam, against ulama, against, Inqilab, Islamic Republic, whatever. These people have motives. They are paid to do all this stuff. Their problem is Islam. Their problem is Tashayyu. Their problem is Imaman Ahl Bayt. Their problem is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
The only thing that makes a person truly responsible. See, now people will say, well, no, police. No. So if you go to a place where the police is not watching you, who cares? No, it's not the law. It's not the police. So if artificially a society is behaved out of fear of the law and police and law enforcement, whatever, this is really not self-control. This is not faith or piety. This is not really responsible behavior. This is really not a measure of how good of a person this is, because it's because of the police. But what makes a person truly responsible is the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This fear of Allah. We have to think about how short is our stay in this dunya. How short is it? I'm in the business of burying people all the time, reading funerals and Majalis for Soham and Daswa and Shehlom and this and that, all the time. I've buried kids, buried grown-ups, rich, poor, men and women, famous people who are not unknown, who not. Nobody has any, nobody's exempted. No one is exempted. The grave will have nothing in it. No money, okay? No nothing. No assets, no investments, no connections, no name. Forgotten, graves will be forgotten after a few years. Where are we heading? Why people, their iman is weak? Okay, so what makes a person really responsible is iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And iman has fear and hope both. And fear is very important. Let's not fool ourselves or listen to people. Allah is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. 113 times in Quran we have Bismillah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Well, you read the Bismillah Ar-Rahman, you don't read the ayat of Azab, which is like 1,000 times more. What about all the Ittaqullah? What about all the Muharramat, all the things haram mentioned explicitly in Holy Quran? Why don't we regard that? So what really controls, what really strengthens our ability to control ourselves, stay away from haram, and give us that determination to do what is required, wajib, right? Is that there should be a role model that you sincerely and with all your heart you follow. There must be a shaheed in this path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who out of this fear, fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and at the same time love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has given everything for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shaheed is very important. A deen that does not have a shaheed in it, no one has died for it, is not worth it. If it's worth something, somebody must have given his life for it. But when you had to choose between deen and dunya, when deen and dunya came, you were given a choice that, okay, take this dunya, and dunya means zillat, khwari, slavery, exploitation of man by man, suppression of the voice, no dissent, like Fir'aun and Bani Israel, like today's Fir'aun and Yazid, and the Awam and Nas, who live like sheep, who have no word, no voice, nothing. And if you have a role model of a shaheed in your life, and you are serious about that, that means there must be a shaheed, and there must be a people, there must be a community who adores the shaheed, who follows the line of the shaheed, who glorifies the shaheed. Right? This shaheed for this nation, this community, is the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you don't have that, you are not serious about Islam. I am not serious about Islam, I am not serious about Quran. If I am serious, then there will be a shaheed who is my role model, and I will practice this love every day of my life. Because the actions and behaviors and character of this shaheed will pave the way to paradise. And I will walk on these footsteps to arrive at the doorsteps of paradise. Because it has been promised. On the day of Qiyamah, Hazrat Siddiqa Fatima Al-Zahra Salamullah alayha,
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
She will reach the gates of paradise and she will look back and say, and she will be asked this, you are the one to enter paradise. She will say, where are my Shias? Where are my Shias? You want to be counted among the Shias of Sayyidah Salamullah alayha? Do we want to be counted among the Shias of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam? Shias of Mawla Hussain and Mawla Hassan alayhi salam, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
The riwayat I mentioned that night, that this was the practice of the Holy Prophet. Every time Imam Hussain was a child, would come to Rasulullah, he would hold him and jazabahu, press him against his chest, like hold him tightly against. One day Imam Hussain came and Rasulullah hugged him and he gave him to his father, Ali. He said, Ali, I'm sick, hold him. And then he started kissing his body. Right? Imam Hussain looked at the Holy Prophet, he's crying and kissing his body. He asked him, why do you cry? Ya abati, father, why are you crying? Imam Hussain, Rasulullah, father and son. So, because for those who are new here, he said, my nasl, Allah has created in the sulb of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Ali's children are my children, you know. So Rasulullah said, "Uqabbilu mawdi'a as-suyuf min badan." I'm kissing the places where the swords will strike those places in your body, in Karbala. So Imam alayhi salam said, "Will I be killed?" He said, "Yes, you and your father and your brother will be killed. And you will be killed in a place called Karbala." When Imam Hussain heard this, he said, "So we will be killed in different places?" He said, "Yes, different places." Awlad Fatima have all been, how the Ummah treated them, chased them, took their lives. So Imam Hussain asked this question, "Ya Abati, who is going to do our ziyarat? Who is going to visit us? If we are like all over the place, you know, we are one place, it becomes a question, okay, after we die, anyone who follows us. But what if we are killed and our bodies are trampled and we are buried in different lands?" So the Holy Prophet says, "La yazuruni wa yazuru abak wa akhak wa anta illa as-siddiquna min ummati." He says, no one will visit me, no one will visit your father or your brother or you except the Siddiqun from my nation. Siddiqun. This is how you all have been praised if you commit to this path. If we commit to this path, the path of Imam Hussain ibn Ali, that we take Imam Hussain as our role model, because you see a responsible personality who could not see the deen and religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in danger. And he came with all he had and he gave everything to the last drop of his blood. Muhjatu qalbi. Last drop. Muhjat is the last drop left in the heart of a person. After you kill, the blood starts bleeding. Imam Hussain gave the last breath of his body. His last word was with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this role model you have, and if you and I, if we become that community that upholds the name of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, make that the goal of our life, and not just words, practically show it. Make a community around the name of Hussain ibn Ali. Establish our centers, give it the best you have. Give it the best. Show that, okay, this is my earning, this is my resources, I'm giving the best to Imam Hussain. And see what Imam Hussain does for you. See what he does for you. The narrative in the time of Raza Shah, the two Pahlavi rulers in Iran. First one was Raza Khan, I think. So he has put a ban on a few things. Hijab was banned, women were not allowed to wear hijab or chadar. And Majalis were forbidden. Majalis. Roza Khuni, Azadari was banned, prohibited. They would arrest people. And it was banned to wear the libas of clergy, the dress of a clergy. Amama and Abba was not allowed. So now people would do Majalis in those times very secretly. And women could not wear chadar outside. If they would, sometimes be taken away from them by force in the middle of the street. If an alim would walk on the street, no, unthinkable. It is a major offense. Majalis of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, no one was allowed to go on the mimbar without the official permission from the ruler or from whoever, governor in charge. So there were two majalis. The sheikh was going to majlis in one house. He finished it. There was few houses on the other side. Was another majlis. He thought that just a few steps. Just a few steps. If I take off my abba and amama and then put in the bag, go over there, put out, just a few steps. So he just said, okay, I'll quickly go out and enter that other house. He came out of this house. Police officer was standing on the side of the street. He saw it. He said, "Oh, Sheikh, stop." And ran after him, "Stop. Why did you wear this? Come here." So why did you do that? He said, "This is inside the house. It was not in the masjid. I was just doing it inside the house. Somebody passed away. I was asked to read for Fatiha in short." He said, what were you doing?" He said, "Well, a short rosa majlis, but I was just entering that other house because, and so distance was very short, so I thought." He said, "You do a majlis? Why are you, this is not allowed." He says, "Please, with the name of Imam Hussain, aren't you a Muslim? Aren't you a Shia? Don't you have Imam Hussain, faith in Imam Hussain? Let me go, I'm a Rozikhun, I'm a Zakir of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, let me go." So he said, "Okay, on one condition, that you read the Musibat of Abi Abdullah here right now for me. If you did Musibat of Abi Abdullah of Imam Hussain right now, I will let you go." So he said, "How do I start here? There is no member, there is no audience, this is the middle of the street, how can I do majlis here?" He said, "Okay, I'll be your member." He sat down on the ground, "Sit on my back." He sat down on the ground. Now he was a little drunk. So this police officer was evidently a little drunk. So he said, "Don't worry, Sheikh, come sit on my back." So he sits down, like crawling position and like this way. And so the Sheikh said, no choice, he just sat on his back and started reading Musibat of Abi Abdullah, and he's crying and Sheikh is crying. He said, "Okay, we're done." He just goes on. Next day, there was majlis at the same place, and this police officer shows up over there. People are scared. This police officer. We are all in trouble. He said, "No, let me in. So they come and ask him, what happened? So the Sheikh was there. "What happened?" He said, "Last night I went to sleep. I was in Maidan al-Mahshar. And it was a Qiyamat. And now they said, this guy has did everything wrong in his life. He's hurt people, he's arrested them, he's done this, he's done that. Throw him in the hellfire." Sentence is passed, he's to be executed. He said, "Now you're dragging me, taking me with my hands and my feet towards the hellfire. And I hear a loud voice from the side, 'Stop! Where are you taking me? Where are you taking him?' They said, he's sinner. He has done so much wrong." Now, this was the voice of Imam Hussain. He said, "You cannot throw him in the fire." He said, "Why not?" "Because he is my member. He's my member. He became the member from which my hadith and my zikr was performed." Right? We are like fish in the water. We don't realize the value of it. We think just this minimum is going to be enough. A Christian scholar has mentioned some place that in the Bible there is no such verse as "now your religion has been completed." There is no such verse. This is now the faith or religion or word of God has been completed or perfected. There is no such thing. But he said that in the book of Muslims there is a verse. It says, "Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum." There is a verse that says, "Today I have completed my religion, your religion for you. وَأَتْمَمْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعْمَتِي, and my favor upon you has been completed. وَرَضِيتُ لَكُمُ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا, and I am pleased to have this Islam for you as your faith, as your deen." Way of life, that is. Not just in the heart, way of life. This Christian author says that if I had such a verse in my book, that day of the year would be the day of celebration of all the Christians in the world. And we will have this as an argument against everyone else. We will make it a big deal. Now that ayat of Holy Quran that he is referring to is the ayat that was revealed after the event of Ghadir Khum. Right? When the Holy Prophet of Islam appointed Imam Ali alayhi salam as his successor, so all the ahkam of Islam on one side, Hajj and Zakat and Khums and Salat and everything else on one side, religion is incomplete. One announcement of succession and imamat and wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen completes the whole of Islam. Really? Shouldn't we make it a big deal? Shouldn't this really be the most important day of our lives? It's like, it's like a child grows up to be mature, baligh. Now, one way to say is, well, now you have to pray, you have to fast. No. Sayyid ibn Tawus, when he became baligh, right, he invited everybody for a celebration. So he said, what is the celebration about? He said, because today I have the tawfiq of tasharruf. This is the day of, Jashm Tashrif. Now they call it Jashm Taklif in Iran. Actually, it is the Jashm Tashrif according to Atullah Jawad Amuli. It is the day of Sharaf Yabi in the Mahzar of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Day when you are allowed in the court of the king. Come inside now. You have the permission. You have the card. Now you can come in. Now your actions carry a lot of weight in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This permission has been granted. All of this basically summarized that Iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Risalat and Nabuwwat and Imamat and Akhirat, right? This makes a person responsible to Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam. Look at how we are right now. Situation is changing so fast all over the world and here in this country as well. And we have to safeguard the interests of our faith. Let me put it this way. Community's interests. And if we don't do it, no one else is going to do it. There are these other people, who receive money from overseas, and you know what they teach, out of what this money is used. Now we are a people followers of Sayyid al-Shuhada alayhi salatu wasalam, and we have to make sure that the resources we have right here are best utilized. Because if we don't do that, we are facing a risk of losing our children. In this age of technology and gadgets and communication and movies and everything, you listen to something for weeks and weeks, and one wrong turn, poses a risk of losing everything. One wrong turn. Isn't this important for us to note? That we are the ones that Siddiqa sallallahu is counting on. We are the ones Imam Hussain is counting on, Imam Sahib al-Zaman al-Islam is counting on. We recite the salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now two of our major scholars have brought this riwayat. One is Ali ibn Ibrahim al-Qummi and Ibn Pulaway. From Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali. It says that the Imam, our sixth Imam, says that the Bibi Sayyida Shahzadi Sayyida Salamullah alayhi was carrying her son Imam Hussain in her arms. And the Holy Prophet saw it. He took Imam Hussain from his daughter in his arms, and then he started speaking to Imam Hussain. La'anallahu qatilik. May Allah curse your killers. La'anallahu salibik. May Allah curse those who take your clothes and everything from you after they kill you. وَأَهْلَكَ اللَّهُ الْمُتَوَازِرِينَ. May Allah destroy those who all came together, joined their hands in killing you. Right? وَحَكَمَ اللَّهُ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَ مَنْ أَعَانَ عَلَيْكَ. May Allah judge between me and all those who are against you, speaking to this child in his arms. قالت فاطمة الزهراء يا أبت أي شيء تقول. She says, Father, what is it that you are talking about? What are you saying? This newborn child in the arms of his mother, Prophet takes and speaks to this child in this manner and says, Ya abate, Holy Prophet said, Ya bintahu, dhakartu ma yusibuhu ba'di. I am remembering, I am talking about what will happen to this child after me. وَبَعْدَكَ مِنَ الْأَذَى وَالظُّلْمِ وَالْغَدَى وَالْبَغْيِ. So he mentions this. He says Hussein will be with a group of people who are like stars in the sky. Because you see, the stars for us, they shine. Now for the Ahlul Sama, Ahlul Bayt and their followers are like the Nujum. They are the stars, they see lights on this earth. These lights are the followers of Muhammad wa ala Muhammad alayhi wasallam. The followers of Imam Hussain alayhi salam in Karbala, yatahaduna ila al-qatl. They are all taking lead again over each other. I will go first. I will go first. وَكَأَنِّي أَنظُرُ إِلَى مُعَسْكَرِهِمْ وَإِلَى مَوْضِعِ رِحَالِهِمْ وَتُرْبَتِهِمْ. قالت يا أبت وأين هذا الموضع الذي تصف. Where is this place that you are describing that Hussein will be killed and his follower companions? موضع يقال له كربلاء, a place called Karbala. وهي دار كرب وبلاء علينا وعلى الأمة. This is a place of great affliction and calamity and pain for us Ahlul Bayt and for the Ummah of Islam. Now, Ummah word often is used for the real Ummah of Rasulullah. There are a lot of people verbally claiming to be Ummah. Anyway, يَخْرُجُ عَلَيْهِمْ شِرَارُ أُمَّتِي. Against this Hussein, the worst of my Ummah, right, will come against Hussein. لو أن أحدهم شفع له من في السماوات والأرضين ما شفع له. He says, if such killers, right, all the people in the world, including Anbiya and Mursaleen, all try to do the shafa'at for the killers and murderers of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, they will not be given intercession. They will not be forgiven. The killers, those who assisted them and those who are okay with those actions. Like today, people objecting, why are the people doing matam? Why are these people crying after so many years? Why do they block all the streets and come out and life comes to a standstill? These Shia people, why are they doing all this? This is all because they support those who killed Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam. That's why. It has to end somewhere, right? If your Imam is Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, you would have no problem with all of this. But if your Imam is one of those other people who took the right of Imam Ali from him, usurped the rights of Imam Ali, caused pain, and all those who accompanied them, supported them, and are okay with their actions, right? Then obviously, if their actions are okay, then the actions of Ali and Hussein are wrong. And they will find a way to accuse Imam Hussein or his followers for going against the path of Rasulullah according to their views. And their views have come from where we know. Such people who spent hardly 6 months with the Holy Prophet and they were kids, they ended up narrating millions of riwayat from Rasulullah. How is that possible? That Ali alayhi salam, who was raised in the arms of Holy Prophet all his life, their books don't have more than 20 riwayat from Bukhari, like few, 20, 30 riwayat from Imam Ali alayhi salam. And somebody who just saw the Prophet for a few days comes up with thousands, hundreds of thousands of riwayat. It's a matter of wilayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wilayat al-Rahman or wilayat of Shaitan. That's why we have this. So we watch ourselves. Where is our love? To whom are we giving our hearts? Give our heart to whom? The heart should be given, it has to be given anyways. Either to Rahman or to Shaitan. Either to Hussain ibn Ali or Yazid ibn Muawiyah. Either to Ali alayhi salatu wasalam or all those adversaries, those who came against Imam Ali and took his right and caused so much anguish that all her life, Fatima Al-Zahra was crying for what was to come to her children. Right? Is this how Ummah Islam should have paid back the Holy Prophet for all he did? He took them from the path of hellfire and is guiding them towards the path of Jannah, and this is how they given the ajr of his risalat. Today, how are we giving the ajr of risalat to Rasulullah? Now, at that time was Ali, then it was Hassan, and it was Hussein alayhi salatu, go on. Today we have Imam Sahib al-Asri was Zaman alayhi salatu.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
وَمَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. Okay, how am I going to? We are objectively criticizing those people who did not support Imam Ali, who did not support Imam Hussain. Okay, how are we supporting our Imam? What is the ajr risala that we are giving? How, through our actions, we are telling the Holy Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, I appreciate your favors. There's no way I can, of course I cannot, but it's something ma'navi the Holy Prophet wanted. He doesn't ask for money. Something ma'navi he's asking us. And that is something that is for our own benefit, not for him. وَمَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا. I'm not asking you for reward. إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. Except love and devotion to my family. That means love and devotion to, okay, our Prophet has passed away, Ahlul Bayt have passed away, they're in their own places. How my love to them is going to benefit them? I love them or hate them, what difference is made to them? No difference. So it means the benefit is to come to me. I am the one to benefit from my love of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So at that point, the Holy Prophet starts describing the people who, after the shahadat of Imam Hussain will remember him and will visit his grave and hold Majalis for him and go out in processions and spend money and their time. When they have to choose, they say, okay, Imam Hussain, I will take the path of Imam Hussain and I'll live for him, I'll die for him. They've been called Siddiqoon, right? Ya bintah, inna afdal. When Imam Bibi Fatima, Sayyidah Fatima, she heard the masayib of her son, she started crying. Ya abati inna lillah wa bakat. She started crying. Her child is in the arms of Rasulullah and she is standing there and crying to Rasulullah, right? قال لها فقال لها يا بنتا إن أفضل أهل الجنان هم الشهداء في الدنيا. The best of the people in the paradise are the shuhada in this dunya. Those who die in the path of Allah are the best of the people of paradise. That means paradise, Jannah has many ranks of people. فوق كل بر بر حتى يقتل الرجل في سبيل الله فليس فوقه بر. So upon every good action is another better action, another better action. حتى يقتل الرجل في سبيل الله, until you reach a point where a person gives his life for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فليس فوقه بر. There is no better goodness, there is no higher virtue than that. You reach the highest place now. Ask myself, why is my Imam in ghaibat? Why is he in ghaibat? Does he not have one country which will protect him today? Does he not have one community on this earth that will protect my Imam today? 1 point whatever number of Muslims, out of which how many Shias, mashallah. Why is it my Imam is in ghaibat? Is he delaying his zuhur? Is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala delaying his zuhur for no reason? No, if his life was not in danger, he would have come. There is not one place on this earth which really will protect him. And he will give him so much support that he can overcome all the, odds against him. Support him to the end, to the last. He needs quality and quantity both. We know the situation is way better than those times. Alhamdulillah, way better. MashaAllah, the lovers of Imam Zaman alayhi salam today are achieving victories after victories. Victories after victories. People of Yemen, Iraq, Syria, all these people, since the revolution came all the way up to Lebanon and other places, there are people coming out. This Azadari of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, right now you can see the flag of Abbas ibn Ali all over the world, all over Europe, America, Canada, Australia, everywhere you go, there are followers, people out on the streets right now mourning and telling the world, that the son of Rasulullah, son of Ali and Fatima was killed, he was thirsty. Our Imam comes with first announcement he will make, Ya Ahl al-Alam, Ana ibnu man qutila atshana, Ana ibnu man suhiqa udwana. And the son of the one who was killed and he was thirsty. And the son of the one whose body was trampled with the hoofs of the horses, right? Udwana. Because of grudges and bughz and hostility. Who would you remember tonight except the son of Imam Hussein, this tifl Yashir Khan, this baby that Imam Hussein had with him? Well, let me mention one thing before I remember Ali, that there are accounts, on the day of Karbala that, for example, Ali Akbar is fighting in the battlefield. One of the children, small infants, of Bani Hashim, he's missing his uncle, for example. And he doesn't know what is this place, what is going on. He walks into the battlefield. Not one account, several accounts like that. This child, right, is running into the battlefield, not knowing where he is going, what is going on here. And one of those soldiers on the other side, they see him, and they come against with their sword, they cut him into pieces. They just cut him into pieces like that, Which tells us that some of these people just came to enjoy. This was a kind of an entertainment for them. Killing the children of Rasulullah. Just coming, there are people who are just like serial killers. People, in those times, they were killing in the name of Islam. They were calling adhan and they were coming against the household of Rasulullah. There were other children who were trampled, who were killed. Abdullah ibn Hassan came when Imam Hussain was injured. He was on the ground, he couldn't fight anymore. Abdullah ibn Hassan came and he saw that someone is trying to hit, raised his sword and about to strike Imam Hussain. Right? And this child comes, you will not kill my uncle. You will not kill my uncle. And both his hands are cut right there. A child feels a lot he screams out of pain. And then Imam says, you will soon join your father. Don't worry. And then he sees this guy, he shoots him with the arrow right there, this child. So there were a lot of people who just came over there. Just so that maybe they get a chance to kill. For no reason. Like a sport. It's a sport for them. Human beings reach a place with their ikhtiyar, they become worse than all the beasts, wild beasts. If there is a child in the house, right, and the power goes off and, and it gets hot, the child, or you run out of water or food or something like that, the child who is crying, because he's the one affected the most, because the mother cannot breastfeed the child starts screaming, crying, and no one knows what to do now. Everyone is worried because of the child. And in the camp of Imam Hussain al-Islam, Ali Asghar was the youngest. Now after 3 days, after the water has been blocked, they have been forced away from the riverside, the water has been blocked, and now gradually they ran out of water now. It's hot because, especially on the day of Ashura, Imam Hussain, in order to protect the camp, he lighted fire on the backside of the camp. That also made it very hot over there. He had no choice. Otherwise they would have come up from all sides. And now this heat, this child. So Imam Hussain al-Islam, he picked up this child. Perhaps the main reason was that what else would he do? What else would he do? So he picked up his child al-Asghar, right? Brought him out. Now they say that Rabab said, wait about it. Let me dress up my child. First time he's going in public. First time he's never been out there. Never been out among so many people. So this is a green dress, a beautiful dress on Ali Asghar, makes him ready. She gives him in the hand of Abi Abdullah, this is the fruit of my life. This is, your son. Imam Hussain comes up and says, some people, Imam is covering this child with his abba because it's very hot. Some people think Imam Hussain has brought Quran to reach some kind of resolution or reconcile or something. There were some who think like that. But Imam Hussain said, okay, you think you have something against me and I have done something wrong. Well, this infant, this child newborn has not done anything. The whole life of Ali was spent in the journey of Karbala. He was born and Imam Hussain set out from Medina. 6 months of the life of Ali was spent in travel. Now he's reached Karbala. Now Imam Hussain holds him in his hand. Holds him in his hand. Then he says, this Ama taraun kayfa yataladha atashan. Don't you see how? Now in Arabic language, yataladha means, the fish when you take it out of the water. First it shakes because it's very painful. It's without water. Then a time comes when this fish has nothing left in it. It's the last breath. So this Imam is saying that this child will die anyways. At least give him a few drops of water, because there's a point, like a child is starved to the point that now you cannot survive. He cannot survive anymore. Whether you give him water or not, he's going to die anyways. You say, give him some water. What else could Imam Hussain do? He's asking those people, and he's not something, he's asking something for himself. Show something, show some humanity. His mother is crying, everyone is, it's very tough, very hard. One of the Maddahin mentions this very nicely. He says, at that point, the time stopped. All the dwellers of the heaven and the earth, the angels and Anbiya, everybody now, because some people in the army were crying, or that they couldn't control their tears, so they turned their faces to the other side because they didn't want to be seen as crying because of this child, because this child was really in a condition that would make anyone cry. Anyone. So everyone, the dwellers of the heaven, the angels, everyone said, maybe, they cannot shoot this child now. I mean, they can kill Hussain, they can kill Al-Qasim and Ali Akbar, they can deny them water, they can do whatever they want, but this child, they will give him some water to drink after all. And then the arrow came. Then the arrow was used for hunting of animals, big animals. When this arrow came, whole universe was at standstill. Anbiya and Mursaleen and Malaika, everyone watching. They shot him. And it came, sliced his throat all the way. I know this child had nothing left in him. So Imam Hussain was holding a child that was still, and suddenly he starts shaking and kicking and moving in his arm. Imam Hussain is wondering what happened suddenly. And he looks down and sees this blood is coming out of his throat. Blood is coming out, pouring on his hand. He fills his hand with the blood. What does he do with it? The voice comes. Now Imam Hussain, it's very tough, very hard for Imam Hussain, no words to describe it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to Imam Hussain. Through the munadi, the voice came. Da'ahu ya Hussain, leave him ya Hussain to us. We have فَإِنَّ لَهُ مُرْضِعَةٌ فِي الْجَنَّةِ. We have found the best woman to take care of, a murdi'ah, to feed him, to take care of him, he will be fine. And Imam Hussain, in response to that, he's calm, his heart became calm. All of a sudden he says, هَوْنَ عَلَيَّ إِنَّهُ بِعَيْنِ اللَّهِ. It is in the eyes of Allah. So it's okay for Hussain.
Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain, Ya